Welcome to The Shoreline, brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio, where finding your Lake Erie love is a sure thing. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Jill Bauer. Joining me, as always, is co-host Dayton Barnett. I manage public relations, and Dayton does social media for Shores and Islands, Ohio, the destination marketing organization for this beautiful location. Together, we bring you The Shoreline every week to give you the inside scoop on what's happening here in our island and coastal communities and the events and attractions we think you'll want to know more about and plan a visit to come join us. So good morning, Dayton. How's it going?
Good morning. It's going great. How you doing?
It's a beautiful, sunny August day. I'm doing well. Summer's kind of coming to a close though, huh?
A little bit. We're kind of dropped already in degrees too. We're kind of like down like 10 degrees. It's not cold, but it's
I think it's supposed to get hot and humid again.
Really? You think?
You just never know with the Northern Ohio weather. Like it feels like it's fall, which I love. Fall is my favorite season. So I'm really looking forward to cooler weather. But, sometimes we get those 80, even up to 90 degree days in September and October. So, but that's what makes it really great. You always have things to do, places to go. What adventures have you been up to lately?
Honestly, I can't even remember. We kind of just go around everywhere. But it's definitely, it's just, I guess, a point to get out there and take up. It's so unpredictable. So get on the water if you want a paddleboard, get anything that you can in before the weather does change on us quickly. I know we have coming up a couple more events on Put in Bay. Broncos on the Bay are coming. So if you ever went out to Jeep Fest, just kind of similar to that, but Broncos. Got some stuff happening at the Liberty Aviation Museum, plane rides. If you haven't been up, I know we talked about that before.
I hope you're planning to do that after our episode a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I am. I'm going to be trying to fit that in. So get in there. So it's still a couple of events, couple of decent sized events happening around the area. So get out there and enjoy.
Absolutely. We've got lots of fall festivals coming up.
Yes.
Melon Festival in Milan is coming up next weekend, I think. You got to make sure you get out there and get that Toff's melon ice cream. And then, of course, there's the Marblehead Lighthouse Festival in the fall and all of the different farms and apple orchards that have fall festivals, farm markets. So really looking forward to a fantastic season, of course, here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. If you're not already, make sure you're following Dayton online on all of our social networks and make sure that you are engaging with our posts on there. Let Dayton know where you want to see him go next because he loves to go out and get content, make videos, and do fun things. So make sure that you are following along. And if you need those social links, you can find them all on our website, of course, so shoresandislands.com. Today, we're going to travel to the Catawba Island Peninsula's Twin Oast Brewery to talk about beer, farming, food, and fall events, as well as all of their year-round offerings. Joining us on the shoreline today is Cory Smith of Twin Oast Brewery. Founded with a passion for craft beer and community, Twin Oast Brewery began its journey in 2015, inspired by the founders' love for brewing and their family heritage. They selected their 60-acre farm, nestled in a charming rustic setting, to open their flagship brewery. Twin Oast is dedicated to crafting exceptional small batch beers that celebrate both classic styles and bold flavors. Cory Smith is the co-owner and visionary currently guiding the Twin Oast brand. Under his leadership, Twin Oast has grown into a beloved local spot, attracting tourists from all over the Midwest, known for its exceptional atmosphere and lovable brews. Welcome to the Shoreline, Cory.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Of course. We're so happy to have you.
Hopping right into it, a little bit of history. We actually talked about a little bit of this off recording before the show, so hopefully you still got some more in you. We know you started out as a fruit farm with a produce stand. How did that turn into beer and into the destination that it is today?
Yeah, actually, that fruit stand has been here before we ever owned the property. So the whole kind of story behind Twin Oast was more of a just mashing of different passions within our family. And so I grew up, and I wanted to be a teacher. I actually went and taught for 6 years before we opened. But while I was doing my teaching gig, I was home brewing. And so for about 10 years before we opened, I was home brewing, and I was saying, hey, I want to make this something I can do for a living, right? And around that time, my dad, we had a family stainless steel business out in Oak Harbor, and my dad was trying to find his way out, and he was trying to go back to the things he did when he grew up, which were kind of being in the farms, being in the orchards. He grew up in Youngstown for a little bit, and his father always had some trees and some vegetable gardens. And so when he was looking to settle down and retire a little bit, which, if you know my dad, he didn't really retire. He went and started running a winery, which is hilarious. But when he was looking to kind of settle down and get out of the stainless shop, he started looking for farmland. And this piece of property came open at an auction. And so he jumped on it. And for a while there, it was just an abandoned landscape full of weeds. And there were a couple cherry trees left over. But that farm stand was up front. And we said, if we can manicure this, do a little bit of hobby farming, sell what we can up front, keep the rest for the family, like, that's cool. And so we did that for a few years. And I was trying to figure out where we wanted to put the brewery that I always had in mind and what the vision was going to be. And eventually we all came together and said, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do it in a way that's going to be memorable for people, in a way that's not just going to be another brewery in a strip mall. We want to make a destination for people to come to. And why don't we showcase what really makes Catawba Island awesome, and kind of the history of Catawba, and stay true to those agricultural roots. And so we merged our passions together, and we started Twin Oast. And we always say, it's a farm-to-fermenter brewery. And that could mean that we're using ingredients from the farm directly in the beer, or just having beer inspired from the farm itself. And, that's really the crux of who we are and how we got started.
That's awesome, Cory. So the name Twin Oast, where does that come from?
Yeah. So Oast houses were these buildings in England where they would actually dry hops. So they'd be on the hop yards. They would grow the hops throughout the year, put them into the oast, kiln them, and then package them off and send them to the breweries. And again, we were trying to think of what is our identity and how do we combine this farming and this brewing culture. And we kind of stumbled upon oasts, and we said, not only is that a great merge of farming and brewing, but they're also really iconic and they're unique. And there's not anything like it in the area. We may be one of very few oasts in America still, to be honest. I think there's a couple out in California, if I remember correctly. But we said, this is going to be a calling card for us. And we actually decided to build 2 oasts on the property. We mentioned in the intro, we kind of started this journey in 2015. We opened in 2018. We've been talking about this for years and years before, and we had different iterations of what the oasts were going to be, if they were just going to be kind of silhouette skeleton oasts or whatever. And we said, you know what, why don't we do this in a way that is going to really be a hallmark of our location? So we built them to scale as much as possible and used local Catawba limestone as the facing, and really just made a monument to the place. And, one of them has a 12-tap bar, one of them has a fire pit in it, but they're just kind of like a symbol of what we do. We want a place for community gatherings, and that really works well for us.
Those the oasts are kind of iconic now, right? I mean,
yes,
it's your calling card. It's really what makes the location, different and special. And you're not actually drying hops in there per se, but it's more of it's part of the patio atmosphere and a place to hang out and near the food. So tell us a little bit about the location now. Like, what, for somebody who has never been, what is a visit to Twin Oast Brewery like?
Of course. Yeah, we're on a 63-acre farm. And so the actual brewery side of it, in the tap room and the land that we use for the brewery, is probably only about 10 acres. There's a lot in the woods, and there's a lot of orchards to if you go south from us a little bit. But, there's a lot of land. And so one of the things that people do when they come here is they treat us more like a park than an actual restaurant or a brewery. And they'll set up picnic blankets and people bring their own folding chairs and just really set up camp, and they grab beer and they hang out for the day. I think every weekend I've seen at least one wiffle ball game being started. So it's very family friendly. I'm one of 4 kids, and all of my siblings have, 3 kids at least. So we're a big family, and we want to be able to bring our kids here, and that's always been a big part of it as well. And so what I always kind of tell people is we're a brewery first. We do have a kitchen. We do have a full service kitchen and everything, but I always think of us as, the beer is the center stage. And one of the things that we do that's a little different from most restaurants is we have a hybrid service model. So when you come in, you're going to order drinks up at either the bars, like counter service. At all the tables, you can scan QR codes to put in your food and bring it out to you. And if you're having issues with that, we have staff who are around to help out. But it's a very relaxed, very calm. The customer is always in control of their own destiny here. And, whether you want to just come in and grab dinner and head out, or you want to park and drink some beers and let your kids run around, everything's available.
Speaking of brewery first, so let's talk about some of the beers. How many different varieties of beers do you guys have? And I know some of them get switched out for seasonal. So how many you guys have available at a time?
Yeah, we try to keep at least 12 on at all times. I think throughout the year we create 30-ish beers. And we have 5 that are our cores that stay on tap as much as we obviously can. And really something that I think sets our beer apart from other places is that we try to really brew a lot of variety and styles and really hit a bunch of different tastes. And so our core 5, we have a blonde ale that's kind of like a light malty beer. We have an IPA that gives you your hop character. We have a Hefeweizen that gives that yeastiness, the big banana and clove flavors that can come from fermentation. We have a sour beer that right now is brewed with raspberries, so we get a little bit of that tart action. And then we have a porter, so you get the dark malt flavor. And so we try to span as much as possible. I know a lot of people will go to breweries and see, they have 15 taps and 10 of them are IPAs and 5 are stouts. And, it doesn't really hit a lot of different tastes. And so for us, one of the things we said was, we know we're in this great area where it's a summer seasonal destination. And we want people to be able to hang out for a while. So we brew a bunch of different styles, and we really try to keep the alcohol limited. We do make our 12% beers, but for the most part, a lot of our beers are between 4.5% and 6.5% ABV, which means that you can have 2 or 3 and still hang out. And it's not like you're drinking. I
never thought about it that way, but I like that.
Yeah, you're not drinking one giant stout and then calling a cab. And that was kind of the way that we wanted to build it, was let people come and relax for a long time. And the beer reflects that as well.
I've never been much of a beer drinker, but I will say that about the region. There is plenty of obviously breweries and wineries and stuff like that. But when it comes to beer, there's a lot of options everywhere, and everybody, definitely makes you kind of step out of comfort zones. There's lots of different types just all over to try. So that's been really fun to just try a lot of different ones around the region, to be honest. When it comes to the food menu, any favorite items you would recommend?
Oh yeah. We have a few, our menu rotates with every season. And so we have a few things that are pretty much staples. We have a jumbo Bavarian pretzel, it's 10 inches in diameter. It's like a small pizza, and it's awesome. It's as big as your head. We serve that with we call it a pub sauce, which is like a mustard based sauce. We serve that with a beer cheese and also a seasonal fruit dip, which is cream cheese based, and then whatever fruit, if it's cherry or strawberry or apricot at the time we want to use. That's always something I recommend people get. It's definitely a fan favorite. And then from our actual main kitchen, I always push people towards either our perch tacos. this has been a family venture, and those are something that my brother used to make back when he would go catch perch and then come home and, make it for the family. Like they're called DJ's Perch Taco, and that was his nickname in high school. So, they're a little bit unique. They're not just like tartar sauce or a coleslaw on perch. They have this unique kind of spicy, tangy sauce, and then red cabbage and cheese and scallions, and they're really, really nice. And then I'd always push for the Twin Oast burger as well. It's on a pretzel bun, has caramelized onions and that pub sauce, and it just really goes well with a lot of our beer. And if you're looking for pizza, our pizza is awesome. We do stone oven pizzas out in what we call our hop house, which is kind of like a little walk-up concession stand out in the back behind the Oasts. For a lot of people, when you come to Twin Oast, if the tables are all full and you're just grabbing a lawn chair or you're putting out a picnic blanket, there's not an easy way to order food just because, we need to be able to service people who are seated at tables. So we actually have what we call the hop house, which is a concession stand style out in the back. And you can walk up and you can grab pretzels or pizzas or small appetizers out there. And those pizzas are just awesome. We have a sriracha barbecue pizza that I just love.
Pizza is definitely a good option if you're on a picnic blanket. I mean, that
exactly
just works out perfectly. And that just adds, in my opinion, to the family-friendly aspect of your location. I've been out several times with my kids, and I think that the food menu is also fairly diverse in that, there's really great kind of gourmet items, for my palate, for my husband's taste buds. We love the Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah.
But my kids aren't going to order Brussels sprouts.
Right.
My 12-year-old says that you have his favorite chicken tenders that he's ever had.
Oh, good. Good.
So even the kids menu and like you said, the pizzas and whatnot are really good for families. Another aspect I think of the family friendliness of it all is you guys have board games available and outdoor games. Talk about, what's available outside. People can just, start their own wiffle ball game.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we have about 60 acres of land. And so if we allow you to grab a beer and walk around anywhere, there's a little trail that goes through the woods, but there's a bunch of just open grass space. And, I've seen kickball, I've seen wiffle ball. People will bring footballs and play around. And, as long as everyone's being safe, we're not going to bat an eye at it. And, it's just so much fun. We'll have, we have some games that we set out as well. We have cornhole and like the big Connect Four and, like a little bit of a ladder golf type game. And, so, again, for me, I look at the breweries that I love to go to when I travel around and, Sierra Nevada and New Belgium, out in Asheville, are just two really cool places. And that's kind of been inspirational for us, is allow people to just have this outdoor space, allow people to go do whatever they feel is fun for the day. And just, you can be like the centerpiece of their day, but you don't have to be pushing, whatever you think they need to do. They can go have their own fun.
Yeah, and you also, if there is, a weather situation, there's indoor games. You have such a variety of like trivia games and board games and things like that. So everybody can kind of just relax and hang out. Nobody's in a rush to, eat and get out of there. It's definitely a hangout place.
On Thursdays, we actually have game night, and so we do trivia, but then we also we call it Puzzle Palooza, and you have 2 hours. With whatever amount of people you have in your team to finish a 500-piece puzzle.
That's fun.
And so people come in, and I was like, I didn't really know if that was going to take off or not, but we have 10 to 15 puzzles going at a time any given Thursday. And it's just, it's a fun, unique, different thing to do.
That's really clever. And you guys do a lot of regular events like that. Like you have some weekly things and some monthly things. Do you want to talk a little bit about what some of those events are and even some of the special events? Yeah.
In the summertime, our weekly events, we have live music Thursday through Sunday. And then on Wednesdays, we actually have Movie Mania. So we have this giant, it's like a 15-foot across screen on the back of our stage. And we throw 2 kids movies out every Wednesday. So starting at 4:30. And then, at whatever time the first movie ends, we throw the next one on. And we have a little kiosk down there with, root beer slushes and lemonade slushes and popcorn, and just let families go down and watch a movie with their kids. And so we do that on Wednesdays. Like I said, Thursday is game night with trivia and puzzles. And then Friday through Sunday are mostly just music things. But and then the big things that we do throughout the year is we try to have, we do have 3 festivals throughout the summertime. The first one is our Apricot Fest. And so that's supposed to celebrate the apricot harvest every year. Unfortunately, with farming, sometimes it doesn't happen. This year was a little low on our harvest, but we still had a festival.
But hopefully it'll
really
be great
is.
next year.
Exactly. But we turn that into a farmer's market where we have a bunch of vendors come out. We have a big kids zone with inflatable games and obstacle courses. Then we have music, and we try and bring in, some big regional people to come in and play for us. Awesome. So that's in early July. In early August, we do Quinstock, which is our music festival, named after my dad, who, again, when he was looking to retire, decided, hey, I'm going to throw a party for myself for my birthday. And
I did not know that. Started out as
party, huh? It was his birthday party. It was when he turned 50. So actually, this upcoming next in the 2025 season is going to be the 20th Quinstock for his 70th birthday, which is going to be hopefully a bigger bash than ever.
Oh, how fun.
And so he threw bands in our backyard when I was, when he was 50, and he was just trying to have a lot of fun with the neighbors and have a block party. And so we kind of continued that into the brewery scene. We have party bands, and it's a lot of fun. And then that is early August. And then in October or late September, depending on the year, we have our Oastoberfest. So that one's coming up, and we're getting really excited about that.
Talk about Oastoberfest. It's kind of your version of Oktoberfest, like a German American festival, but you do things a little bit differently. So tell people what they can expect at that event.
Yeah, so we partner up with the Bavarian Sports Club out of Toledo, and they come in, and they're just awesome, by the way. If you've never seen them dance or anything, they're just so much fun.
So cool.
But they come in with the traditional garb, and they'll bring the bells and the instruments that you need for whatever music they're playing, and they do dances. I think it's every hour on the hour, and so they'll come out and they'll do their Schuhplattler, and they'll do their I forget what the bells are called, but they have all these different games, and then we have polka bands, and we have the Chardon Polka Band that comes out, which they do. If you've never seen the Chardon Polka Band, they play like normal pop music in polka style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone knows the songs, but it gives it definitely that Oktoberfest feel. So beyond just like that traditional vibe that we really try and instill, we actually do a beer festival as well. So we invite 20 of just regional Ohio breweries. We try and pick people from all over the state and try and bring in new faces every year. And we ask them to join us, and they set up tents and they pour beer along with us. And so if you want to come in and try a bunch of different beer from a bunch of different breweries, that's a fun way to do so. Wear your lederhosen and listen to some polka. And, it is honestly my favorite day of the year, because every year something different and wild and fun happens. And it's just such a unique way to build community around here. You see the same people who are just excited to be here. They bring their steins, and they're excited to try all the new offerings that they see, and it's just a ton of fun.
And that's October 4th and 5th this year.
Correct.
All right, Dayton, get your lederhosen ready.
I'm ready. I went last year, so I have clips of that. So we'll have of course we'll have a post coming out for that event.
Okay.
Happens, but it was a lot of fun. I pulled up, and people were, I think at the time they were doing the barrel rolls.
Okay, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
We definitely we do some games in between the songs, and so we do like a barrel roll. We do a sausage toss. Of course, you got to do stein holding. So we have a stein holding contest, and the crowd participation at Oastoberfest is like nothing else.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Is the stein holding the one with they had a contraption on their back trying to pour the the beer in like
no,
I did not get
it. That's called the marionette. And so what they do, it's trying hard to explain without any visuals, it's like a backpack, and then in front of you have two handles like marionettes that you put in your hands, and in the middle is a little platform for a plastic cup. And then you have to lift up with your hands to get the cup into your mouth and tilt it backwards to drink out of it. And everyone spills it on themselves, and it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I did not see anybody. Yeah, so you guys will see some video clips of that for sure. Mentioning just year-round aspects of the business, can you talk to us about the private igloos you offer during the winter season?
Yeah. So as you guys know, this place is very, very busy in the summer, and we like to try and showcase what can still be fun in the wintertime too. And this actually, you could probably guess it was more of a product of COVID happening when we said we need to have some extra seating in the area. And we talked about this before COVID hit, and I just kept saying, no, there's not a lot of people here. Like, it'll be fine. We'll just use our tap room. Well, once we put these out, people were sitting in the igloos and no one was in the tap room. So they're really cool. So what they are, they're basically little domes, and they have like a clear plastic covering on them, and we have heaters inside, and we have lights in them, and we decorate them to be cozy, like winter lounge kind of feel. And so we have like a chandelier that hangs from them. And so you can be on our patio or in our woods in the middle of December, enjoying some beer, and you have full table service. And it's just a great little place for 8 people to sit and have a nice gathering. We do 2-hour time slots, and really we book them all winter long. And people love them. I mean, they've kind of become a tradition for a lot of people. They'll have their family party there for Christmas, or they just, we've had a lot of people who celebrate anniversaries. I know people have been engaged in them. So they become special places. Actually, I have a friend who got married in one of them. They had a Zoom marriage inside one of the igloos, which is really cool. Yeah. And so they've become definitely something that people look forward to every year. And there's just something unique, again, different than anything in our immediate area, and a fun place to gather.
When do those normally pop up, Cory?
Yeah, we start renting those, the first actual, like, when you can rent them starts in mid-October, but they don't actually start being seated until mid-November. We normally do have a pretty good distance ahead with the reservations, so we like to give people some time to get some slots open. But mid-November is when they start, and then I think last year we pulled them out and had the patio ready for St. Patrick's Day. So mid-November to mid-March is kind of the time frame for those.
And you can reserve it for a 2-hour slot for your group. It would be a great location for, a small holiday gathering, even up through, Valentine's Day. That would be a really fun thing to do. So speaking of celebrations, your location is also available for, like corporate events, private events, weddings. You mentioned, a wedding there. How can you tell us how that works?
Yeah. So it depends on the season, obviously, but in the wintertime, we actually have our pergola space, which is behind the Oast next to the hop house, and we enclose that in canvas, and again do the lounge feel of couches and low seating and fireplaces. So that can be a spot for a nice cozy gathering of about 40 people in the winter. And in the summertime, we actually, because we have all the space, that can actually fit about 60 people in the pergola space. But then we have our outside field where you can set up tents. We've had up to, I think the biggest wedding we've had was 300 people. Wow. Big 300-person weddings where they set up tents and they bring in food, and we set our trailer bar out there and pour drinks. And it's just such a beautiful backdrop. You can be kind of in the woods, and then in the backdrop you see the Oasts and the landscaping and everything behind you. And it works out really, really well to have weddings and, even rehearsal dinners, throwing stuff like that out into the pergola. Just small intimate gatherings for your family before the wedding works out really well.
And we had Shores and Islands, Ohio, had our holiday party there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I maintain it was still one of my favorites. We had a really good time. You actually put us kind of in the production space, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah. We that has been a little bit, what do I want to say? We've kind of taken some of that away because we've added so many more production tanks.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of seating
space. There's not space back there anymore.
but for small enough groups, we absolutely could do that. And that's always kind of fun, just to throw some tables and chairs in the brewery space, throw up some lights and let people kind of enjoy the fermenter atmosphere.
Just another thing I happen to think of is, do you ever do tours of that space? Like, whether it's for groups or, just for people visiting?
We do. In the wintertime, it's a little easier for us to set up tours for people. One of the things that we actually offer, we call it Dinner with a Brew. And so the first Friday of every month in our pergola space, we'll do, and this is October through April, we'll throw a 5-course beer pairing dinner in the pergola, and part of that is also having a brewery tour along with it. So for the first hour or so, it's social hour plus brewery tour for those who want to join the tour, and then afterwards we start the 5-course beer pairing dinner. So that's a fun event that we have the first Friday of every month. But yeah, we always allow people, if they want to call in and schedule brewery tours, we can do group tours. We just got to kind of call ahead and get everything scheduled, but for sure, that's always an option.
Very cool.
A little more land to cover. You guys have another family business just down the road, which definitely deserves its own interview and episode. But can you tell us briefly what that is and how the two businesses are related?
Yeah, so that business is called Gideon Owen Wine Company. And the story there, we opened Twin Oast in 2018, and it's our entire family. It's the parents and the 4 kids who all own Twin Oast, and I kind of run the day to day here. But we all have some stake in the game, right? And in 2019, my dad was he was approached by the old owner of Mon Ami, and the owner was saying, "Hey, I'm looking to sell. I really enjoy what you guys are doing at Twin Oast, and I love the fact that you're a local person who wants to kind of keep the space green. They want to be able to keep the history and the culture alive of Catawba Island, and not just put up a bunch of condos and put up a lot of what some of the locals get upset about. Just we want to be able to keep the space kind of historically what people around here enjoy." And so Dad, thought about it a little bit, and then he went down and viewed the whole facility, and for the first time in his life was able to go down to the cellars at Gideon Owen and was blown away. And if you've never been down there, I know they've had weddings there, but it wasn't really widely open to the public for a long time. They have these 4 vaulted European style limestone cellars underground at Gideon Owen. And they have these barrels that are 150 years old, built in spot, just beautiful, like one of a kind things. And Dad saw that and just said, "Listen, I don't know much about the wine business. We're just new to the restaurant industry, but if I can somehow preserve this culture," and he calls himself the curator, and he knows he's going to eventually pass it on to someone someday. But if he can get this back to something that the community can be proud of, then he's going to take on that challenge, and that's what he's been doing. And it was Mon Ami Wine Company. Decided to change the name, which was a little bit controversial at the time, but there was about 100 years of history with Mon Ami, and I think we were ready for a new direction. We were ready to kind of reinvigorate the brand, and so he settled on Gideon Owen, which was one of the early winemakers in the area. And Gideon happened to have a cellar on one of the properties that my dad has for another farm. And so Dad kind of said, this is almost like he's channeling me to bring his legacy back.
I love it.
And so he said, when we do this, completely gutted the entire building, renovated it from floor to ceiling, and is trying to usher in just that next phase of what that building really is. And, they've done a really good job with it. It's a little bit more fine dining, high end than what Twin Oast is. It's more traditional dining, but they do weddings and they do big events there. Every winter they have their holiday mart where they try to recreate like a European market. So they have vendors come in and, for 4 weeks in the wintertime, the vendors come in and set up this beautiful mart in these glass houses that you just have to see to understand, because it's just absolutely stunning. But he's done a great job down there.
So Dad retired and then opened two
businesses. Exactly.
I don't think he understands the meaning of the word.
I think he one time told me, he's like, I could retire, but then I just stare at the lake for 5 days and say, all right, what now? He needs a challenge. He'll be bored if he's not doing something. And he loves it. I mean, this is his mind is going 1,000 miles an hour. And he said for the first time, the world's catching up to how fast his mind's working when he has two businesses in a completely different, realm of business that he's not used to. So he loves the challenge.
Yeah. Thank goodness he has you as well to run the brewery.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have someone out to talk about that. Talk about getting on. So with all the information we've gotten today, where can people go to keep up with this information on Twin Oast?
Yeah, our website is twinoast.com. And then you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We have a very small, if you're on TikTok, we have a very small TikTok right now that we're building. But all of those are just at Twin Oast. And you can just, follow us on social media and come visit us. Like I said, the biggest thing is, everyone sees this as a summer destination, which it really is, but there's so much fun to be had in the wintertime too. And I get a lot of questions, are you open in the winter? And 100%, come check us out, join us on a Friday night, a Saturday night, and have some beers and have a good time.
Yeah, from a travel and tourism perspective, this region is really expanding outside of the summer season. There's so much more to do in the fall, winter, and spring. So it's really nice to have businesses like yours to send people to say, we've got these great things, and your dad's down at the winery. We've got all of these great things that are open year round, and it's not just a place to go, but there are things to do, and there are events and activities happening. So thank you for providing that for the region, and it also gives us locals somewhere to hang out as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is kind of the part of the impetus of doing this whole thing, is we wanted a fun place to be, right? So you build a place that you want to go, and hopefully that attracts other people as well.
All right. Well, very good. Special thanks to Cory Smith from Twin Oast Brewery for joining us today. Of course, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a minute of the action here in Shores and Islands, Ohio. You can find more information, including past episodes of this podcast, online at shoresandislands.com. And we'll see you next time on The Shoreline.